Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to practice basic SQL command. So after watch all the videos in lab 1, you should be able to do the assignment for the lab 1. So the first thing is always connect to MySQL server. So you can open MySQL Workbench. I already saved my connection here. So what I need to do is just double click the connection. So remember, your username is your pass ID and the password is your LSU ID. So you can type, I just type in my password and click OK. So before you connect to server, just make sure that you are in LSU network. If you are not, please connect to VPN first. So here I already connect to VPN, so I should good to go. So I click OK. Yes, there we go. So in this lab, we're going to work with database classical models. So you can also say schema. So let's take a look at how many database and what are they our account can see in the server. So basically, I can see 4 databases. 3 of them you should be able to see exactly same with me. Classical models, patent, and tax. So these 3 databases are shared. Everybody can see from all the students. So we will use a lot of table in these 3 databases to do our practice. And also your account can only do select. So basically you can only pull out data from this 3 database. I don't want you to make any change or update on those tables. The last one, maybe you can see a little bit different, is your pass ID. So this part, change this part with your pass ID and the underline database. So that is your own database. So you can, in that database, you can do whatever you want. You can create a table, you can insert data, you can delete data, you can update data. So each time, if I want you to practice some data definition language, please use your own database. Okay. So the full data model for the classical model schema can be found here. And I also attached a graph here for you. So from this full model, we can see each rectangle represent a table. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 table together for this database. And their payment, customer, you can see the table title. And you can see very specific what are the columns in that table. So for example, payment, you can see check number, payment date, amount, so on and so forth. So it's a very intuitive, very direct way to understand all the tables and all the columns in that classical models database. However, very important here, this model is not a ER model. It's not a ER model. So we will talk more about ER model. You may see something similar to this, but this one is not a ER model. Okay, before we start our query, we want to know a little bit more about our work environment, the workbench. So where we can type our query. So you may choose to work in multiple tabs, or you may choose to type all the queries in one tab. So I can show you what are these tabs. Here I have one open file that I can type my query here in this file, and you can use this icon SQL. If you click this icon, it will create another tab, so which is another file for you to write queries. Usually I used to write all my query in just one file. I think that's enough for me. So how to execute your query once you write a query command? So there's 2 lightning icons. So in this toolbar, there's 2 lightning icons. So you can use either one of them to execute your query, but they're slightly different between these two icons. The first one is by default, it will run everything, run all the SQL command in this file, or it will just run that part is selected by you. The second one is only run that particular line where you put your cursor. Okay, we can test out with some example later. First, make sure that you are working within the classical model schema. So you want to make sure that you select all the tables from this database, not something else. The command that you use to select this database is you use classic models. And for each SQL command, so this is a SQL command. So for each command, you separate them with a semicolon. And then now I just use the first icon to run everything in this script. So basically, I just have one line of query. If this query is successfully run, you can see from the output window, there's a green check mark and tell you, okay, this command is run successfully by my SQL server. And then we also observe that the name of this database is kind of black and bold, which tells us that now the database know we want to work within this classical model schema. Okay. Next, we want to basically take a brief look at one of the table. So we want to look at the content of the product table. If we want to, what is the query command to select everything from the table? We just use this select everything. We use a star from products. Remember, write the table name exactly as what it is. Okay. And once you done with this query, remember a semicolon to tell the computer that I'm done with the command. So this time I'm going to use the second lightning icon here. I put my cursor here and I click this second one, and it will know that I want to run this line. Okay, so the output show me that I successfully execute this command on the server, and it also tells me that there are 110 rows returned. So basically, I selected everything. So that tells me there are total together 110 rows in that database. And you can see I didn't specify which column I want to select, so it returns me all the columns. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 columns, 9 variables. You have product code, product name, product line, so on and so forth. And if you want to see more data, and you can scroll down, and then it will show you all the data. So the command that we use to see all the data is to select everything from a particular table. And the two observations is that Workbench return 110 records. You should be able to see 9 columns. If you cannot see 9 columns in your Workbench, then you may want to scroll to the right and see all the columns.